I would like to give the floor to one and only Harris. Harris is obviously well known to everyone, senior fellow at Rice University and executive director of the Brain Capital Alliance. So Harris will take us. Can we have a photo? Harris will take us through the past, the present, and the future of the brain economy.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Paul. And a round of applause to Paul for the wonderful organization and strategy of today. You'll get many more applauds. So it's just incredible to be here, to see many friends and new friends, and everyone has to make 5 new friends today. And I'm going to ask you throughout, because you'll feel that this is like a kind of like a family, this movement that we have here. And so enjoy it. And it's really action packed. We've never had such a high impact event. So I hope you enjoy it. And it's going to be hitting you in all different parts of your brain, whether it's with the musical part or the analytical part or the social part. But let me lay out some context about the brain economy, past, present, and future. I specifically don't want to steal the thunder of the speakers that are coming up and the panelists. So I'm just going to sort of intrigue and lay some context for you. We have a serious moment in time, don't we? Every day in the news, we read something new that suggests that the world is changing. The world is in flux in many, many ways. Here you can see some examples. We have geoeconomic fragmentation. We have geopolitical tensions. We shouldn't mention the word tariff. We have, at the same time, AI is going through the economy, is changing many, many things. All of our lives have been impacted. We have the prospect of significant labor market changes. At the same time, we have declining literacy and numeracy around the world. We have changes in science. We have changes to the UN structure and engagement. So I think this is a moment in time to think of this optimistically. How do we as a movement get ready to be useful to the world, to be useful to sustainable development, to be useful to human development? I think that's the charge of today that we really need to think about and problem solve. How do we get ready individually and as a collective? This is pretty historic series of things coming together. So the brain economy, as was described this year in a great article, is the new thing. It's the idea that communities, societies, and countries contribute to economic growth and stability through collective brain power. This is just a little tagline of what the brain economy is for anyone that is not familiar with it. And it's the new thing. And the reporter wrote that in the coming months, governments and companies will hear a lot more about it. And they'll probably hear about it through you guys. So you'll be the folks that bring it to them. As I said before, we have a moment in time. This is just another way of stating it. Things are in flux: global economics, global politics, global science, global sustainable development. You might have noticed that the US government is rejecting the sustainable development goals. So what do we do about that? What comes next? We have AI advances and changes in finance, so we need to be ready. I think there are 5 key areas of action and then pilots that we need to consider. A brain economy research agenda, brain lens investing, all of these things you'll hear about today in one form or another. A policy framework. We need to also think about AI agents, the agentification system that's happening in the global economy. What does that mean for us? We should unpack that. We have some folks here from a company, Baryons, for example, that's developing AI agents. And then we need global coordination and coherence, because this movement that we're all a part of is getting big and it's getting vast. And so we need to coordinate and cohere ourselves. And that's what the first panel will be about today. So the research that we've been doing is really going wonderful. We have a bunch of different work and papers coming out around, relevant to the exposome, the effect of our environment, our politics, gender equality, air pollution, climate on our brains. It's a big field of work. Here are just some examples of papers we've published in Neuron, Nature Medicine, et cetera, et cetera. Measurement is a big question. Simon Fisher-Baum, if he's not here yet, he'll be speaking about our global research agenda that we're developing. We'll have a lunch meeting about the research agenda if anyone's interested to join that. I'll let Simon go into this. I'll save this for Simon. I won't steal his thunder. He's going to go into it for you later today after lunch. On the topic of brain lens investing, we're very interested in how do you think about transforming the global financial system so that every dollar that's invested globally in any sector, in food, in education, in real estate, what is the impact of that dollar on the human brain? Is it positive or negative? That's brain lens investing, and we have a big panel coming up about that. We've thought about this, we've ideated on it in papers in the past, but now today we have a white paper, a consultation paper to share with you all. We have a panel to talk about it and unpack it. So now it's getting serious. Moving from ideas into action is what today is about significantly. We did have a wonderful series of meetings this year with the European Investment Bank. It's the biggest public development bank in the world, so they are helping us to think through brain lens investing. European Investment Bank is twice the size of the World Bank, so they are with us. Shiva could not be here physically. She has a board meeting, I think, Paul. She's in Luxembourg, but she'll be with us virtually. So another example of the progress that we've made, thanks to many of you in the room that have helped us to continue to mature and advance this work over the years. And brain lens investing, this is the topic of a panel that will be presented today, so I won't steal their thunder, but it's really interesting and really novel. So Nicole and the panelists will be ready to impress you and to synthesize this down. Should also mention that the Brain Economy Action Forum of the World Economic Forum with the McKinsey Health Institute, one of their 5 pillars of the brain economy is investing. So this is all integrated brain lens investing into that general framing as well. And Andy Moose from World Economic Forum and Kana from the McKinsey Health Institute will talk more about the Brain Economy Action Forum later. Policy framework, we've also had ideas about this. We've published it in academic journals in the past, thinking broadly about how would you develop a policy agenda for the brain economy. And the great news is that today we have our first place-based manifestation of the brain economy in Houston, Texas, working with the Center for Houston's Future. David Gow and Jochen Reiser will present this. This is the first ever place-based city-level brain economy strategy that's rolling out now anywhere in the world. And then we've also been developing work on the policy level with Canada. The Canadians, put your hand up if you're a Canadian. We're going to have a special meeting of Canadians later today to talk about the national level brain economy policy strategy. Really interesting thinking about it in all the ways on the right: business, civil society, labor, science, think tank, women, youth. How do you think about policy levers that you can pull in all those different sectors? So thank you to the Canadian colleagues for coming together on that. In the future, we'll be driving deeper into individual sectors. Gambling, we had an event yesterday, responsible gambling, built environment, Julie Hiramoto will talk about that, venture capital, energy, crisis context. Thanks to UNDP for being here. We're developing more work on the multilateral side. You see Davos Alzheimer's Collaborative working in Africa. We made it into some of the budget terminology for the European Parliament, which is a milestone for us, and other regional specific activities in Australia, in Spain, in California, Texas. Those are their own countries, and then the Nordics as well. So it's a busy agenda, and if you're interested in engaging in any of those geographies, come talk to us, and we'll tell you more about where those events are up to and when they'll be on. AI agents is obviously the future, so we need to be ready as a movement for the future, not just thinking about current issues in global economics and global politics, but the future of AI agents. We like to think about agentifying brain capital in the workplace. Could you have an agent, a coach, a mentor in your pocket that is helping you to develop your brain capital and is actually supporting you to have more social interaction with other people, for example? How to use AI for good, AI for supporting us to be better as a collective. We can talk more about these technological frontiers and the things that we're developing during the day. We have been working on a workforce part of brain economy because it is brand new. So we all need to think about how do we train early career, mid-career, senior career people in academia and business about the brain economy? How do we unpack it? We did a pilot executive education this year in Paris. Many of you were involved as faculty and people as pilot executives going through this. We taught folks new economic thinking, neurotechnology advances in ethics, living labs, which is like a city level place-based context, policy communication, systems thinking, and workforce implications. So if you're interested in any of these executive education offerings, we want to do it again, and are open to where in the world we should potentially do that. So it's just another example of small ways that we're moving the ball down the field with the brain economy. But without further ado, let's talk about coordination and coherence and transition to the first panel. The first panel will be covering global coordination strategy that's just finished. High Lantern Group, McKinsey Health Institute, Milken, and the World Economic Forum. And it will also cover a little bit on the World Economic Forum's Brain Economy Action Forum. There's going to be a big report on the brain economy released in Davos in Switzerland in January. This will be probably the crescendo of the brain economy movement to date. So we're getting ready now for January and encourage you all to engage with us. So without further ado, let's get into the global coordination to put a bit more meat on the bone. I hope this has been a helpful overview and update for you. So thank you.